I love you's too forward for a first date. That's... Oh, we fucked something up bad. Hello? Someone there? Matt? Hey, Matt.
I'm better.
You want to tell me what that was all about, though?
Nah.
Cool. Glad that's getting as much of an explanation as this movie gave.
Yeah.
We watched the movie today.
Death House.
Death House.
Death House.
Yeah.
Death House.
It does sound like a chant.
Yeah. Death House. Death House. It's probably just people just trying to say that House's character should have been killed on the show.
I mean, spoilers for the last episode, kinda. Anyway. So, Death House, I'm going to try to give a synopsis, a brief overview.
I mean, you could try.
Because a step-by-step is physically fucking impossible.
You could try.
2 federal agents go into a government building that keeps dangerous criminals
from getting out.
much like a prison. And it uses the Minority Report method. If you don't remember that, it's where they put all of their prisoners into a comatose...
Kind of like a hibernative coma.
Where they're not forced to relive their well, okay.
Well, they're forced to re-experience it.
They're forced to re-experience it. But whereas it was punishment for the Minority Report, in this, they're using it to study the criminal mind or whatever. So in order to get in, you gotta, like, be a killer yourself. So, like, these people have, like, gone deep undercover and they killed people undercover. So it kind of... Whatever. Brief overview.
I guess that's how it is.
I guess. So
they're convoluted movies, man.
There's also a whole thing where they're put into these things through, like, chemicals, but it's also a virtual reality setup.
Yeah.
And they have, like, all of these actors and stuff that they put in order to get these killers to, like, do the thing. Like, if a killer was only killing blonde girls, they would bring in a blonde girl. If they were only killing, like, children, they had children. That sort of stuff. So they...
Think the movie Lockout meeting the movie Let's Be Evil.
That we did. There's a thing. But...
Should do Lockout, too. It's fun.
I'm trying to figure out where it even goes next. So,
you really don't need to worry about
it.
I mean,
okay.
The official...
During an exclusive tour, I'll say with that, the power... Okay, well, I don't want to say the power right now, so hold on. So, it goes to... they're getting the explanation of all that, and it's 9 levels based off Dante's Inferno, where at the bottom level, there's these thing called the 5 evils. And what are they? They're just 5 really bad people. Why are they really bad? Because they killed more people than they know.
Because they're all played by horror movie icons.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Like a good deal of this cast.
So, yeah, they do some more virtual reality stuff, and then there's this one guy that was introduced as... Oh, yeah, our 2 main leads are Boone and Novak.
Yeah.
Boone's a girl, Novak's the dude.
I think.
Boone is related to this one neo-Nazi. She was undercover as a neo-Nazi. And the guy...
had to kill a woman and her son.
In, like, a recreation of, like, Hitler's basement or bunker or whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever. But her nemesis in that was a neo-Nazi named Sieg.
And I'm pretty sure... who was it?
So anyway, the whole
played by Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder, that's right. So the whole
Mr. Jason.
Whole follow through of this is that there is a power outage, and they are trying to escape, but all the prisoners are now out and about and doing whatever. And the neo-Nazi guy, Sieg, he knows that there is the 5 evils down beneath, so he's trying to lead all the prisoners down there so they can all be part of their big plan, because I guess, of course, they have a plan. Meanwhile,
they don't explain it well.
The federal agents are trying to get down there. also because
Stuff.
they think they'll get out somehow. It's really just because of the Dante's Inferno thing where you got to go down before you can leave. But that's
Yeah, that's really the only way about it. I mean, even in Dante's Inferno, he doesn't explain it very well.
He just shows up in purgatory.
So we had to get
Popped out the
further
other
into
side.
we had to get further into hell in order to pop out into purgatory, which is on Earth,
Yep, makes sense.
and it's a mountain.
So they end up.
We couldn't find my copy of Dante's Inferno to do an opening joke on it.
Oh well. The
I think we succeeded.
the ending eventually boils down to they get down to the five. The five are like hinting that the place itself is evil because the research they're doing is like trying to bypass morality, so everyone's beyond evil and good. But it's they understand that humanity, it's baked into them. And then Sieg shows up. By the way, Sieg is like immortal somehow. That is never explained because he literally has his intestines ripped from his body. But whatever.
Somehow.
But then as he's facing these guys who are basically like Cenobites, they summon this electrical whip thing that doesn't hurt him, but then all of a sudden it does hurt him, and it looks like it kills our main federal agents, but it doesn't because then they escape, but then maybe they don't because they don't know who they are, because this place is messing with memories, and maybe they're also killers. This movie doesn't explain anything!
See, all right, guys. So, and David did a pretty damn good job trying to explain any of the stuff in this film. One of the major problems that I don't have a problem with esoteric films. I don't have a problem with movies that are hard to get and stuff like that. I put at the time of recording this. I went to the Maryland Film Festival and I watched a whole bunch of experimental, diverging form shorts, all this kind of stuff about that is meant to break the form in certain ways.
Ooh.
This is not this. I honestly. Okay, one of the big selling parts of this movie is that it was based originally off of a screenplay by Gunnar Hansen.
Who's that?
The guy who played the original Leatherface. He, of course, is a big icon in the horror movie world. And also, as David can attest, as we were going through the opening credits, I'm like, wait, you're in this movie?
Yeah.
Wait, you're in this movie?
Here's the thing. There was the two federal agent cast members, maybe like one or two other people, and then was special appearances by, and at least a list of like 20-something people that Matt's like, wait a minute.
Well, just list off. Here's just list off a few people. Mm-hmm. There's Adrian Barbeau. There was Michael Berryman. He was from Hills of Eyes. We have Barbara Crampton, Sid Haig, Lindsay Hartley, Lloyd Kaufman, Camille Keaton, Bill Moseley, Tony Todd, Dee Wallace, Vincent M. Ward, Vernon Wells, all of these people.
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo. He wasn't even in the credits.
As soon as he showed up, we're like, God damn it, Danny.
Yeah, Bill Orbs Jr., Debbie Rockon, Felisa Rose from Sleepaway Camp. There's so many actors in this. I'm like, that's honestly, I feel, how the only reason of why this movie got made. Because it had so much support. But, I'm thinking to myself, all right, so you have all of these major cult figures. You have Lloyd Kaufman, the guy who runs Troma.
You have Lloyd Kaufman technically popping up over, probably 20 minutes of the movie. But he only shows up in, 8-second bits.
It's so stupid. And this is all was supposed to be happening simultaneously. Mm-hmm. Guys, you don't understand how simultaneous actions need to be cut together.
The power goes out because a guard is attacked by someone on the outside. Who the fuck knows who? I don't think that was ever explained. And he gets an EMT implanted in his body, like Joker.
EMP.
EMP.
Yeah, they EMT is an emergency medical technician.
Yeah, sorry about that. EMP. Although I'm pretty sure, didn't we say that the subtitles got
it wrong? It said EMT on there.
That's why I thought that.
Yeah.
But yeah, an EMP knocked out everything in the place. So, and that was Lloyd Kaufman's appearance. That was him being a surgeon, being like, there seems to be a contusion. So, but no, it was.
So they beat. Oh, I'm getting it. Oh, here it comes.
Poop.
Flash.
Yeah.
Flashbang.
How would you imagine? This thing they've said is goes a mile down beneath the earth, like, or if not more. I remember mile being used. Maybe it was plural, but that's a mile. This thing was small enough that it was able to fit in this guy's colon. So, I don't know much about electromagnetic pulses. Feel like that's a bit of a stretch, but hey, so is everything else in this movie.
And honestly, like, considering the fact of how many people from the industry and how many, like, icons are in this movie, especially, just take for an instance Trauma. Like, this was obviously not made by Trauma. It felt like it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Like, the story itself is a throwaway thing for the exploitable elements in this film. That's basically what this movie is grind up to be. Mm-hmm. But the problem with it is that somebody, for some reason, I think the director of photography or the director themselves, somebody saw Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark, and they saw the scene where, you know, it's that few minutes where they're shooting at monsters in the dark and all that kind of stuff, and you're just seeing the muzzle flashes and all that kind of stuff. Someone took that scene and applied it to an entire movie.
So once the power goes out, they go into emergency power, which is red lights, as you know, all emergency power is. And then after an hour, that goes out, and it is pitch black, save for all the guards have flashlights, and when the guards are overpowered, all the inmates have flashlights.
Everyone's moving flashlights like this.
I have a question. Hello, Mr. Director Man, Mr. Lighting Department. Hi.
Yes, the man in the back.
Yes, just one little question. Why didn't you just leave the red lights on?
Because that would take a lot of time. We only had 3 grips. And a gaffer.
Right, but you can just flip a switch and the lights would be on.
And that's the thing, and David said, I said multiple times to David during the movie, I'm like, I can't fucking see. Like, it goes beyond simply that, you know, there was like a glare on the screen at one point because, you know, we were watching this movie in the daytime. But at the same time, though, it doesn't matter.
No.
Like, you couldn't even see forms, like, barely out in the dark. It was just flashlights when they would come along the ride and they kind of go away. I'm like...
they aim them at the people and whatever. Like, here's the thing. They're trying to make it like, this is a fight scene or whatever. Like, people, you know, just willy-nilly with the flashlight. So, whenever it's aiming at somebody, it doesn't stay on them for more than half a second before it goes off. But then, like, another one comes in. So, there's probably, like, 2 people, if not one person.
At least
like
2 or 3 people on the
like,
sides.
Told to keep focus on that person, but they can't, like, keep it just dead aimed on. That wouldn't make any sense.
Even though they do that literally when they're hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, and then there's one part where they're hanging from the ceiling trying to avoid detection. And there are flashlights that are crossing over them occasionally.
Well, there are some flashlights that just go and stay.
Yeah.
Right on them. I'm like, well, but obviously somebody knows, or else someone's doing like
someone's
this.
Just like, hey guys, so...
You know, there's a possibility there might be people hiding somewhere, but not here, because it might be up or down. I don't even know.
If only I didn't hurt my neck and I'd be able to look up. Dang it.
Can someone look up for me? Bobby, look up for me.
But that's the sort of thing where it's just like, you're letting the story of like, oh, hey, there's no lights except for these flashlights. And necessities of cinematography of, hey, we need a little bit of light to enter the lens in order for things to exist.
Unless you're able to use a camera that has an extremely high ISO.
I'm sure that, like, if they did, like, first draft, they probably had to write in, and they get flashlights. Because...
Oh, apparently one of the first drafts of this was originally supposed to be designed to be in a Saw film. Which explains the gore.
Yeah. But again, that just fits in with the fact that it's B-movie sort of love letter.
Yeah, I mean, if you boil the whole basic plot line down, that these guys go into this institution that is designed to this, things go wrong. Like, it would have been... I think the major problem that I have with this, and I'm not trying to be overly nitpicky about this type of film. It's a genre film. It knows exactly what it is, and it has the exploitable elements. There's some, like, the first time...
Oh my God.
They have so many tit shots in this movie that I'm always about upping the smut, but, like, this is, like, just downright stupid.
They are giving the characters' backstories, like the 2 federal agents, with them in the shower
together.
Mind you, the male, it's from this high up, but only his back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the girl
keeps
she's
turning
getting a full
around,
360, fucking
cut-in shots and stuff like that.
zoomed in. First they start on the tits, and they're like, "Oh no, we were actually focusing on her hands." And then start on the tits, and wait, she has a tattoo.
And then just tits.
It's just like, yeah, we get it, movie tits.
And honestly, again, as I am, I don't have the biggest problem with that. But the problem is, what I really have is when they go through and they have like the people,
the actors,
and whatnot. Is like where it's like, oh, we have everything custom made down, and they just ripped. It's like down to the breasts.
They specifically say like, yes, we have like these killers, no matter what they're into, no matter what it is, and they list off like 4 different things, and then they like take 2 of them, tear off the thing. It's like whether they're into big breasts or little breasts, and it's like we believed that they had breasts.
Yeah, we didn't need to necessarily see it.
We didn't need the visual to know that they had boobs.
Then you get past that point to the point where I get the idea that you're not exactly sure what's real and what isn't type of deal.
Yeah.
Like again, like let's be evil. Like that's kind of one of its shticks was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a problem with that per se. You didn't apply it well because we were constantly like asking like what the fuck is going on, but we had a tiny little bit of clarity. We did toward the end, finally.
No. We thought we did, but the end never even cleared up what was actually happening. We had a personal theory as to what we believed was happening, but the movie did nothing to clear it up.
No. And again, like I don't have a problem with movies being ambiguous. I don't have problems about movies being controversial and stuff like that, but that's not what I got from this. No. What I got from this is that there wasn't story structure at all.
No.
At all.
I mean, the whole thing in the movie was that it seemed like they were hinting at the fact that the virtual reality that they keep on going into is, to take a thing from Inception, layer 2.
Yeah.
And they are
basically
being in the place at all is layer 1. But they never, like, there's a few things that, like, every once in a while, like, they'll be talking to someone that it seems like they're in real life and they flicker into static for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so they are in a thing. But then, like, they never resolve it. They never say, like, no, actually, this was all a thing. They just leave it, ooh, were they? Weren't they? The top's still spinning!
And then it doesn't make sense for when, like, they are in the world, but not because, like, they're supposed to be in danger, but then when we get toward the end where they're meeting the 5 evils and shit's happening, and then they're cutting back and forth between them and the machine.
Giving their monologues about good and evil and transhuman.
Exactly. And so it never... Then, of course, it starts going into that. It's like, all of our plans. And then, Sid bursts into flames.
Like, they never gave me a reason to care. And by the time that they moved on to the next thing I was supposed to care about, I was still trying to figure out why I should care about the last thing.
I cared about the cast of Snake Island more than I cared about these people.
Dang.
Like, and that was not a movie that was designed at all to make you care about the characters.
No, I wish I knew what they, like, the top level, the most surface level thing is that this is just hey guys, we love B movies.
Yeah.
Even, like, this is just going to be
Here's all a bunch of B-movie moments.
They had a mid-credit scene where it's literally the real makeup department. And a guy walks in and be like, damn, I grabbed the wrong bag. I only got this mask. And they pull out a Jason Voorhees mask. I'm like, well, this
And, of course, Kane Hodder is one of the people who plays Jason.
So that's, like, they're clearly just, like, we all have experience with B-movies. We all have our histories. And we all, are, like, enjoy it.
But, like, none of the actors, like, nobody has any realistic responses to anything.
No.
The worst one is the older doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
Fletcher or other. No, the whole reason that got us into watching this movie is that when Netflix has the autoplay...
Barbara Crampton.
Okay. Has the autoplay trailers. This one didn't have a trailer. This one literally had the exposition scene as its trailer. And we were like, all right, let's see that. And they went through the whole thing about, like, oh, yeah, we put them under, and they're all evil and stuff in their dreams, and we can study them, whatever. And then the one lady just went off on a whole thing being like, well, yeah, social media existing that creates social violence, and we know that to be true. And they, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Honestly, and then they went on a whole thing about like the Jim Jones cult in Guyana being like,
because it was like supposed to be like, you know, they're referring to. Honestly, let me take a step back.
Okay.
I honestly don't think that they fully understand what they're referring to, because I think that they're trying to mesh a whole bunch of things. Like, how in the world did you combine Jim Jones into this? There's nothing at all that's correlative. Unless we're simply just talking because they also mentioned A Clockwork Orange and they broke the rule. Don't mention a good movie in your shitty movie.
They literally, I think you were doing something else at the point, but when they got out of the elevator, the dude out held his hand and he said, "Come with me if you want to live," in the accent, and it's like, that's not even a B movie. That's just taking a line. And to be fair, they did immediately follow it up with like, "Are you serious right now?" He's like, I gotta lighten the mood somehow.
I mean, I didn't care. I couldn't see. The editing was fucking
you were pissed.
Awful.
You were pissed.
All right, guys. Like, I am usually, because of all the amounts of movies that I see, I have different expectations going into different movies. If they subvert my expectations and I enjoy myself, then great. I don't even care if the movie is all that good. There's a movie that I reviewed recently for Film Trek called The Bush Knife by Ronaldo Kell. This is a trashy, I think I said in my review, this is everything that is wrong with action movies. But it's well worth the investment because there's so much cheese and ham in it, and that it's fun. It makes it fun, even though the fact that you know it's not good. I know all of the reviews all of the comments that were written on that review were most likely by the director themselves because all of them are constantly calling for a sequel. I see your shit, but at the same time, I enjoyed it because of the incredulousness of this. I couldn't even really find that much in this movie to enjoy, and you have so many opportunities and so many fucking people. Like, you had Camille Keaton in here. She was the star of I Spit on Your Grave. She's of course starred in more movies like What Have You Done to What Have You Done to Solange, all these other kind of movies from the 70s. But at the same time, though, she's in this movie for like one shot.
Yeah.
And she's in this movie for like 20 seconds or something like that.
Like, that's everyone.
Like, all of these major, like, Lloyd Kaufman's in there for like a minute, if that. Yeah. And like, that's the same thing with Danny Trejo. And also, like, you didn't even utilize Kane Hodder's capabilities to the I mean, he's known most famously for a guy who doesn't say a word, but at the same time, though, he's not a horrible actor. I think that he does a good job. I've actually, I wouldn't say I met him. I was in the same room as him, and he seemed like a really nice guy.
We locked eyes across the room.
We just knew. But, I mean, like, you had so much potential here, especially if you had it from a fucking script. From Leatherface. Like,
yeah, I mean, so
it's the movies that I hate the most are wasted opportunity.
Is that your final thoughts? Do you have?
I mean, I guess the last thing that I feel like I should just say about the movie is that even if you're going in and you love, like, I love the idea of Trauma without liking any of Trauma's movies. Like, I've seen The Toxic Avenger or Romeo and Juliet, whatever the fuck it is. Tromeo and Juliet, whatever the fuck that shit is. Trollio. It's Trollioli. But at the same time, though, I thoroughly appreciate the movies what they are. I don't like Troll 2. I appreciate it because of how terrible it is. I don't like The Room. I enjoy it because it's fodder. This movie isn't even that. I couldn't even enjoy it for bad's sake. I will say, though, they had some pretty decent practicals with some of the scenes. None of them made sense in context. And also, then there's this one scene where they just go straight into the SCP universe. And they're like, these are homeless people.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up at the beginning of they're trying to dodge this gang of inmates. And they hide in this room where it's like, yeah, they were like, the most we really get from it is they were like homeless and
something
children
happened
or whatever, and something happened. We don't know what. And they're literally like goblins. And they're just like,
we no longer wish to be free.
And then they just feast on the corpses
of the dead, and they
of
all
their own dead.
Yeah, they all looked like they're like been flayed and shit like that.
And then they just walk out of there with no problems afterwards, and it's like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, that was entirely like
What?
It was completely had no impact whatsoever on the entire rest of the story. A lot of this happened, especially that one time when they're like, this is another reason why it makes sense that they're possibly in an artificial world, when they jump down the elevator shaft and they're like just free falling and shooting. They're not even aiming; they're just shooting randomly as they just go down, and they hit no one. Nothing's happened.
And then they survive at
and
the
then
bottom.
they survive at the bottom and walk away. Like, nothing about this makes any fucking sense.
There was a scene where they had 3 of like these psychopaths that had like differing philosophies or something, and the scientist's conclusion is that because of their differing philosophies, they would cancel each other's crazies out, so they kept them together. One of them was like a magician or something, and he was apparently really good. Then when the inmates came, they broke him out because he apparently had something special. They gave him back his mask. And then nothing else happened with him. They built up this whole thing with him, broke him out, and then maybe 2 shots for the rest of the movie. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't result in anything.
And then when Kane Hodder gets down to like the 5 evils, it's like, oh, I've been following your teachings. There's people out here that are willing to die for you and all this that kind of stuff. I'm like, where the fuck was this?
Yeah.
You were put in here, into this place, completely irrelevant to that. Like they just, you guys happen to be in the same area. None of the parts of this movie are tied together at all. They're all individual pieces of all separate, different bad movies.
And that's, for my final thoughts, that's basically it, is that this movie was so disjointed. This movie was just, whether it was badly edited, badly written, badly paced, I don't know, but it felt like a million things were going on, and by the end,
and nothing.
By the end, I was hoping, like, if they had just done that thing where it's like, hey, you're still in the virtual reality world, then I'd be like, okay, that at least can explain some stuff. At least some stuff. But they couldn't even do that, because I think they forgot.
They could have at least said, hey, maybe we're in the virtual reality world.
But they didn't. There was an opening and closing bookend of a dude that kidnapped girls out in the desert.
And then it slams on and it has something to do with radiation.
But it has nothing to do with anything else, because apparently...
Unless it's just an homage to, like, The Hills of Eyes or something
I don't
like that.
care. I didn't get it. I still don't get it. And I'm not talking about the scenes. I'm talking about the movie. Let me see what you want. And if the darkness is so important to the story, then please have a story.
Because the guy who plays the farmer is the guy who plays the Candyman in the original Candyman. And
that's fine.
movies.
If you want to have him,
Tony Todd.
If you want to have him, fine. But don't write a scene that doesn't make any sense with the rest of it.
Well, that's the problem. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, running out of time. So, my final thoughts is this movie is so not worth a watch. Like, if you want to see all these B movie stars together, just have a movie marathon of their good movies. This is not the place to find it.
Yeah. I mean, overall, like, pretty much the same thing. This movie is just, it's going to be more, like, it's funny that how angry we've gotten with certain aspects. I wouldn't really say angry, kind of like just really, just despondent. But I don't like the fact that disappointing movies are the worst ones that we watch on the show. He's like, I was expecting at least some fun out of it. I got none of that. So, that's it.
And those are our thoughts on Death House.
I mean, you know what, David? I got something I gotta say.
Okay.
All I know is time is a valuable thing. You watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. You watch it count down to the end of the day and the clock takes life away. It's so unreal. You didn't look out below. You watch the time go right out the window. You're trying to hold on, but you didn't even know. I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside. And even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to me eventually just be a memory of a time I tried so hard And I got so far, but then the end doesn't even matter.
Made possible by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.